Hey, what's going on, guys? Nick from Practically Tactical here, and I got Jesse from 4C Tactical, a temple indexing mofo, right?
Glock 42.
Oh, it's a great gun. So we got another part of the series coming up here and building our ultimate concealed carry handgun. Would be, what's one of the biggest upgrades you can do to a concealed carry handgun? Other than maybe a trigger and sights. Other than that, what would you say would be the biggest upgrade?
Stipple.
That's right. So I'm down here with Jesse, and now, Jesse, you actually have some previous experience in stippling handguns, right?
Sort of.
Yes. Jesse, I paid him about a 30 pack of beer, Bud Light, to stipple my Sigma, which, by the way, I think I drank like half of that.
Yeah, we drank it while we stippled the Sigma.
Yeah. But we're actually going to take a pretty decent shot at this guy here.
Try my best on this one.
Yeah. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be looking at starting a stippling project here. And Jesse's actually been doing a lot of research onto it.
Hands of a surgeon.
That's right. So we're going to be doing some stippling, some work to it, trigger underguard cut, and maybe try to figure out some stuff as we go along. But we're going to try to do the stippling job ourselves here on this gun to, again, make it, in my opinion, the Gen 3 Glocks, this pebble grip is just terrible.
Yeah. Gen 4 a little bit better, still not the best. But these are going to be a lot easier to stipple than the Gen 4. Not as much cleanup work, which you'll get to see a little bit of.
Yeah. So what we're going to try to do here, guys, is just do parts of, show you different parts that we're going through of doing a complete stipple job, trigger guard undercut, maybe a few other things here on the Glock for you guys to see. So if you guys out there, you want to do it yourself to your own concealed carry handgun, well, you can at least, maybe we can help them out a little bit.
Don't hesitate.
Don't hesitate.
I mean, there's places you can send it. They're going to do a way better job, but... Yeah.
Well, for example, like my Glock 42 right here, which is done up by Sweaty Money Billy, Chad over there.
We will not be doing this type of job today.
No, it's not going to be that nice of a job. But again, any stippling, as long as it's done halfway decent, is going to be a really nice upgrade. So obviously, some things right away here. We have tape on it, so why
take
do
out all
we
the
have tape?
internals, tape it up. Tape is going to make straighter lines, and yeah, take out all the internals just so you have more working area. We're going to bevel around the actual mag release on the Gen 3 a little small so you can actually put a little inlet into it. And yeah, from here it's just going to be taking off the texture and cleaning it up, polishing it up a little bit.
Okay. So yeah, we're basically going to be sanding it, removing what's on here right now, getting it cleaned up, and then that's when we'll actually do the stippling part, right?
Right.
All right, guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this of stippling your own handgun. Again, polymer framed, stippling on a steel framed gun might be a little difficult.
Yeah.
But I mean, try it. Let us know how it works out.
Yeah.
Right? Send us pictures. So here we go, guys. We're going to start stippling up and building our ultimate concealed carry handgun. Let's go to it.
Alright, guys. The first step is you're going to take a Dremel and you're going to want to just remove all this factory texture right here. You want to get rid of all this backstrap and start to blend it. So we're going to jump into that now.
Jump on it.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So we're doing about a 2-hour update.
Yep, about 2 hours in at this point.
And we've been hard at work, and by we, I mean him. He's been doing all the work. So as we discuss this here, we're going to roll in some close-up footage so you guys can see it. So initial thoughts so far of what we've done. It's a dramatic change, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Removing the finger grooves, giving that just undercut to the trigger guard area here, and a slight support cut there. I mean, you can see just how high it gets in, you know, on that back tail. Just, ugh. I mean, definitely a way better feel. Not as blocky anymore, you know, it kind of rounds to your hand. Definitely nicer, but I mean, just quite a bit just to get to this point, to get everything smooth and consistent. And I mean, from here I would definitely sand it to a perfect sheen.
Yeah. So so obviously so far we're done. We've cut off the finger grooves that are there, or whatever they were called there, and then you've done all Dremel works. I mean, the goal here is we're just taking the surface off. We're not trying to remove material. We're just trying to take the surface off there. Again, we don't want to do anything that, you know, hurts the frame, right?
Right. You can see I mean, you can see still some of the pebble. I barely just, you know, got it enough to where the sandpaper will take down the rest of that texture.
Yeah. Now, I know people ask, what tools did you use on your Dremel to do some of these cuts? And most specifically, like on the support cut here, you tried to actually square that off, right?
Yeah, I tried. Obviously, most of these are rotating round, so it has a tendency to kind of want to roll. So I tried to get more of a square tool in there, just something small to get a nice straight edge in there. And then again, when you're hand sanding it, you'll be able to kind of polish in that fine groove, you know?
Yeah.
Otherwise, the main tool is going to be your drum sander here. I think this is 120 grit, so it gives it a nice fine coat already. And yeah, I mean, it definitely made short work of the pebble stuff for sure.
Now, something of a little bit of change of plans would be for the mag release. We're originally going to try to do something there to give a little more room, a little more room to get your thumb in on, because again, the Gen 3 mag releases kind of suck.
Yeah, I think if you get an extended, though, you'd be right, like the Seekins or something like that.
Yeah, so you can see a draw. We were tempted to, you know, maybe try to cut or something, but at least for now, we're going to skip that for now. But yeah, so the next steps we're going to be looking at doing is just hand sanding this down to get a better finish on it.
Yeah, definitely. Go through all the layers. I think we've got... So we're at a 120 now. I've got a 220, 320, 400, and then an 800. So we're going to bring it down to basically a plastic sheen finish again, and then I'll actually hit it with the rotary on a polish tool again too. Okay. So we'll show the end after that.
All right. Well, I think I'm actually going to have to do some work here and some actual hand sanding here, because I'm sure Jesse's ready for a break. So guys, we're rolling some footage here as we sand through this process. So here we go.
I use this right here to kind of get in here to get a more straight line across, and then I'll come in and actually hand sand that down to actually even, but it'll give it a more straight line here instead of rounded, more like this one here. I figure for the back you kind of want more of a rounded hump going in, whereas here you want kind of a ledge coming up to get a wall against.
All right, guys, so the next step here is going to be hand sanding down, working our way down through grits here, because we want to get the whole frame basically uniform, you know, same all the way around, sand it down to a very, very smooth finish before we start the stippling process. So this is going to be a lot of hand sanding, so here we go. Hey, what's going on, guys? So, update midway through the sanding, and by midway I mean an hour and a half at about 3:30 in the morning. So we're still working on our 220 grain sandpaper. If you can see it there, we're starting to get smooth. However, if we can get a close up on this part, so the important part is when you go through with a heavier grain, if you move on to your lighter one too early, so you can see right here we moved on to a lighter one right there, and the line that was there previously on the frame is now back. So you really got to get the sanding done right. So probably gonna take a break and get something to eat, but I'm assuming probably about another half an hour to an hour of sanding with a 220 grain on the frame still. So back to it. All right, guys, so we're gonna take a break from our 220 grit sandpaper, and we're gonna be cutting into the magwells here. The main reason would be if we ever have a magazine malfunction, it gives us more surface and more to grab hold of the mag and rip it out. So at this point in time, I don't remember what these are called at this point in time because it's like 4 in the morning. But we're going to cut those. So Jesse, you remember what they're called?
Magwell Cuts.
Okay, Magwell Cuts.
Sure.
So another pro tip that we've learned so far is maybe don't do this at 4 in the morning, but live and learn. So let's go through it. We are 7.5 hours in or so into this stippling project, minus a half an hour lunch because I think we're federally allowed that, aren't we?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think so. So Jesse was doing a ton of work here. I did a little bit of sanding. I say we did find out a few ways to make it a little bit easier. So the abrasion wheel helped out quite a bit.
Definitely. Abrasion wheel, polish wheel, and yeah, good old-fashioned elbow grease. I mean, that was really all it takes. Time.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
I say where we felt the big difference on the frame would be at least when we hit that 400 grit. That's when we really noticed that.
Yeah, definitely. 400, and then the polish also. The polish really brought back the plastic look. All of it looks factory plastic now.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and do the stippling as well because when you're this deep in, you just go all the way.
No, you can't quit now.
Yeah, you can't just put the tip in. You gotta go.
No.
Even though that's what you're about to do to the gun.
I don't recommend doing it. Yeah, after so long of a thing, but again, it's just too long for us now. We just got to continue on. So I say take breaks. You know, maybe split it into a 2-day adventure, sanding one day, and then actually stippling the next. But
yeah. But so we're going to roll some close-ups in here. So basically for the tape that we have on the gun here, so the taped areas where we are not going to be stippling for the most part, minus maybe in the back of the gun. But so the taped out areas that we have, we're not stippling, and then basically where there's no tape, that's where we're stippling, right?
Right.
And then so your plan of attack for stippling is going to be what?
Random dots everywhere. Tiny. Smaller tip, the better. Random. That way it doesn't look like a pattern. It'll look funny. It'll look like golf balls everywhere. This tiniest tip you can get, just try to stay straight up and down with it so it just makes little circles, and then start in an area, kind of fan out, start over here, fan to that, and I mean, just kind of go all together, make sure they're consistent, because I tend to find you start going smaller toward the edges, bigger in the middle. I don't know, I haven't stippled much but PMags, but, you know, start on your friend's guns, that's the best way.
Yeah, start with their Sigma, and you work from there. And so for the, what's the tip that we're going to be using? Because we learned before we used what kind of tip?
Just a regular soldering iron tip, and it was a sharp point, but it just wasn't sharp enough. This one here is from a wood burning kit, and as you can see, it's just a, well, probably can't see from there, but we'll get some close-ups of it, and it is a super, super fine tip. So I'd say keep it clean, you know, it gets gunked up, and like I said, straight up and down is the best way.
So, all right, so let's lock the doors. It's a good day to die, Valhalla. Let's stipple this gun.
Let's do it. Alright guys, so we're about 9 hours into this Glock project here, and as you can see, it is definitely taking a while. Got this front section done, this top here, this undercut, still got to wrap the entire thing, but it's getting there. So we will get some close-up of it now and then show you when it's done. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is finally almost finished. Now you can see I've got it completely stippled all the way around. And now it's just go in and fine tune, clean up all these lines, make them nice and straight and even from where the tape kinda got away, or I went inside the tape a little bit, but didn't manage to get the Glock logo in there, keep that, and I don't think it turned out too bad. Definitely a time-consuming process. I mean, those tiny dots take forever. But I think it looks a lot cleaner than going with the big dots, and kind of makes it look golf ballish. So, well, there you go.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So we're back to day 2 now, and we've finished up the Glock 17. So 2 days, like what, 20 hours?
Yeah, I'd say about 20 hours into it.
Somewhere in there. It is now done. I'll roll up some close-up stuff and talk about it. So, man, would you ever do this again?
It depends. I mean, it's what your time is worth to you. It really is what it comes down to. I mean, if you take your time and do a good job, I mean, you know, it comes out nice for sure. You save yourself some money, but yeah, if you think you could make that amount of money in the same time that it would take 20 hours of doing the frame, and you want it, you know, you don't want to be the guy sitting there doing the tedious work, then send it somewhere for sure.
Yeah. So, if you had to do give some people some tips about this project, what would you tell them to do?
Definitely, I mean, your prep work is going to be key to this for sure. So, taping everything off as nice as you can to get as straight as lines as possible. And then also, the slower that you can, you want to be able to just touch that dot for like a quarter of a second. And it's going to leave just the tiniest little mark, and you would want to do that 10,000 times, you know? Because if you start digging deeper on a deeper hole, like there's really none on this, but it's going to take a lot less time, but it's going to look like shit compared, you know, at the end. So
yeah. So what about the I guess the secret in this type of industry is the borders. Obviously on here we have really clean straight line borders, and like I said, you looked into it and everybody was like,
yeah,
you know, this is like the mysterious great white buffalo or the elephant in the room that everybody wants to know but nobody talks about. So what did you learn about doing borders? Because you got really straight lines on here.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing you're going to notice between like a professional job and an amateur job is going to be the recessed borders. And to get this is where, you know, that's like where you're sending it to somebody. It's taking it to the next step, and no one's going to tell you how to do it for sure. But I believe it's taking, let's see if I can actually find, let's see, hold on 1 second. I'll find it. Yeah. If you take something like that there, like a flat tip, and you actually just tap out your straight lines, and then you can take something like this and kind of push down when you come around the border here. If you were to push down here, it would give it that recessed look, you know. I didn't do it on Nick's on this time, but I think on my own coming up here we'll give it a try and see how that turns out. That's what I think is the big difference between, you know, a pro job and an actual, like, just an amateur doing it yourself job. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, if you got the time to do it, go for it. If not, you know, just like send it to Chad. Sweaty Money Bloody does an awesome job. Obviously, great work. But I mean, the gun feels amazing. It's not like super like, oh, it's gonna like rip my skin off, but you can tell the grip. I mean, the biggest thing would be the trigger guard undercut. To me, it just, God, you can get up on that gun. Secondary. Support hand trigger guard undercut. I mean the Magwell. I mean, let's be honest. Like we're both on Instagram.
yeah.
this is better than probably 95% of people out there that put up pictures of stippling.
Yeah, no, I think it looks really good. Like I said, I mean, it's definitely time is the key in making this look nice. I mean, you can do it quick and half-ass it, and it's going to turn out terrible. But if you want it to look like that top professional job, it's just taking your time. I mean,
yeah,
that's all it is.
Well, Jesse, thanks for helping me with this project, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Learned a bunch of stuff here, so I appreciate you guys watching. I'm sure you'll see Jesse back here because obviously one of the most important parts of building the ultimate concealed carry handgun is the holster. Obviously, something that's very important. So you guys will definitely see Jesse again here on the channel at 4C Tactical when we do some holster concealed carry stuff. So if you guys haven't already, please check out 4ctactical.com for all your holsters. And again, you'll see Jesse talking about his holsters here on this series later. So take care, guys.